We are here somewhere in the valley,
Somewhere.
Burbank, underneath, I don't know, maybe underground.
A nuclear bunker that
Yes.
Poodle probably had sex in. You just don't remember.
I christened it.
You christened it.
There's a lot happened. Fuck it. I'm saying it now. We're here with Marcus Parks from last podcast on the left.
Hey, everybody. Thank y'all so much for having me today.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Noted 90-day savant? Aficionado?
At this point, I've seen all 10 seasons of 90 Day
wow.
Fiancé.
Wow.
I've seen every season of Before the 90 Days, which
the
I
best.
absolutely
The best.
adore.
The best.
And all seasons except the latest one of
Toe,
The Other Way. Yeah. And I've watched a little bit of UK, but not a lot. My wife is more into UK.
Yeah.
It's got moments.
a different child.
Yeah.
It's a different... They're going for a different aesthetic.
Okay.
in that one.
I call it 90-day candy. You got
It
to
is.
turn your brain off because some things don't make sense. And plot points,
It's very produced.
If a plot point is introduced in America, we are never dropping that plot point. We are going
No.
to beat it to death. And in UK, like, their mom will die in one episode, and then, like, 3 episodes ago, you never hear about their mother again. Even though it was the most traumatic thing that happened.
Yeah, but I will say we wanted to talk to you, and I've been a fan of your show, Last Podcast on the Left, for a while.
Oh, thank you.
Ever since I discovered, I got obsessed with the Donner Party for a while,
yeah.
and I was obsessed with it kind of as far back as I knew.
So you're to blame for I had to fucking hear that
Well,
over and
I've been obsessed
over.
with it for a long time, but it made it worse because then I read the book.
The Indifferent Stars Above.
Yes,
Yeah.
I read that, and then I went to Lake Tahoe. Have you done Donner State Park?
I have not yet. I want to go. So now that I live here on the West Coast, it's much more of a possible reality, but I haven't done it yet.
It's amazing. You can take a tour, and there's this grizzled old man who will take you on the tour and show you where the houses were, and he'll say, "This isn't a story about people eating people. This is a story about people trying to survive."
I knew you were going to fucking say that. But you want to like raise your hand and say like, yeah, but it's also a story about cannibalism.
Yeah.
Like, it's also a story about eating people in order
And
to
I was
survive.
like,
and
where
how
are
did
they buried?
survive?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was trying not to be. But anyway, that's how I discovered.
Did you ask a lot of questions over and
Oh
over? and
yeah,
then
I
cancel the show?
cornered the poor man and so did everybody else. I cornered him and demanded answers. He finally said, "My back hurts, leave." And anyway, but I found you guys that way because a lot of our listeners said Last Podcast on the Left has a great episode about this, and I've been hooked. It's just for those uninitiated who are only 90 days. Tell us what you guys do there.
The last podcast has been going on for about 15 years now.
Unreal.
Something like that. I mean, I've been in broadcasting myself for over 20. But last podcast, I've been in the podcast game for, I think, like 16 years now, like right at the very beginning. But last podcast just covers a lot of the darkest topics that you can imagine. And it's... the genre, I guess, is a true crime comedy, but really it's about defanging all of this shit. It's about taking the things in this world that are most scary to us, being for the Donner Party, being stuck, being stranded, and finding the humor in these situations, because in every these situations, no matter how dark it is, it's always involving people. And any situation involving people is going to be inherent. You're going to have moments of humor no matter what, which is why 90 Day Fiancé is such a great fucking show.
Yeah,
is because it's a show about people, and you're going to find humor in the everyday lives of these fucking weirdos.
It's why we find the show so not easy, but so fun to talk about in a fun, humorous way. Because yes, they do edit in a way for it to be funny sometimes, but sometimes we just love to, even the darkest stuff. Yeah. We love to just go there and make fun of it, or have a moment with our listeners saying, someone out there is seeing this. Yeah. And someone out there is feeling it,
is living
it.
And I think, so look, I'm not a true crime person because I get scared and I won't go to a parking garage
get scared
by
a lot.
myself. I have to say, though, just preparing for this, and because I'd heard of you, and Jake was like, "You should listen." I was like, "I don't want to get scared. I don't, and I have to think about this." But it's something about maybe because y'all do use humor, and I actually am listening to Patty Hearst right now, which I'm like halfway through. I really enjoy it.
Thank you.
But I don't get freaked out when I listen to you. I'm not scared.
Some of them might. Some of them.
I'm probably not going to listen to the one about cannibalism because I don't know if I can do it.
Some of them
but
might do it.
I don't know. Armin Meiwes is the one we just. I mean, it's.
That's
I mean,
the German guy who found someone on the internet to eat.
See, I can't. I am newly single. It's like when Dahmer came out a couple years ago. Everybody said you've got to watch this on Netflix, and I said I will never have sex again if I do this. Like I already have.
Too late.
There's already something wrong with me. My college roommate once. I told the story just in a live show the other day, but I walked out of our living room and she was watching something on TV, and I went, "Who is that guy? He is fucking hot." And she looked at me. She said, "That's Jeffrey Dahmer." So I have a bad picker, Marcus.
His younger times, Dahmer was conventionally attractive.
I mean, the dude worked out constantly.
Yeah.
It's like and he was like tall.
Yes.
Like I don't know. I guess I've been told that he's very handsome.
Yes.
I guess I could say he's handsome.
Marcus, just for some of our listeners may know what you look like. When I first saw a picture of Marcus, I said he has such a baby face for that voice, which I'm sure you haven't heard that.
I've had this voice since I was 12 years old.
Oh my God!
Just dropped. Don't you think maybe if you were a slender Filipino boy, you could have just gotten picked up by Jeffrey Dahmer?
I might have.
But just now, I think he would see you in a gay club and say, I could pull this one.
Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't quite Dahmer's type, though. Because, I'm too white to be Dahmer's type.
Yeah,
That's
you do
true.
look like a Norman Rockwell painting come to life. Like this beautiful baby face.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
You'd be watching your father cut the turkey, but really you'd be thinking about Satanism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
okay.
That's
I
kind of
get
how
that.
that's kind of how it went. Coming
Do you
from
feel
rural
like
Texas.
is there any serial killer that you've covered or someone that you feel like they would have killed you?
You know, that's the thing about it is that, I am, as far as serial killers go, I'm a straight white man. I'm the safest one in the world. I'm like straight white men don't get killed by serial killers. It's just not very often at the very least. Yeah.
It's true.
So I'm good to go. Two of you are fucked.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Yeah. The two of you at risk is how I describe both of you.
I often say the fact that I consider it a personal affront that I was never kidnapped. I don't feel that pretty sometimes because I was a gorgeous child. And it does make me feel like not even an attempt.
Yeah.
Not even,
Sorry.
Not even a playground attempt.
Not even a playground.
It is kind of like, well, my mother would always say, don't talk to those strangers, Jaybird. They'll take it because you're pretty. And no one ever did.
No one ever did.
I'm still waiting.
So you've talked about you and your wife both are deep into 90 Day.
Very deep.
So I do feel like with 90 Day, everyone always has their first. So what was the first moment that you or couple or that you saw
who was
that
your
you went,
gateway and went,
"This is
I'm
it"?
in?
Well, I first got into it when I was writing our book, last book on the left that came out in 2020.
Available on Amazon.
Wherever
Other
books are
retailers.
sold. Wherever books are sold.
Wherever books are sold. And I was at that time, like I was working on the last podcast all during the day and then working on the book all at night. And I would kind of come out of my office every once in a while, go to the kitchen, go to the bathroom, do whatever. And I noticed my wife was watching this show, 90 Day Fiancé.
Oh, it's always the wife.
Because she had to do something while I was cloistered in my office.
Yes.
And I'd come out and I'd talk to her for a little bit about whatever idea I was having. She's great. She's such a wonderful partner to bounce ideas off of. We do a podcast together now,
Yes.
of course, No Dogs in Space, which is a music history podcast. But after I'd talk to her, she'd press play again and I'd just sit there and I'd watch. And there was this little man named Colty.
Yes!
Oh, Colty.
I was just and just watching Colty and Larissa and just watching these people interact. And I'm like, who the fuck are these people? Why are you, what is this? I was like, what is this show?
That was a pivotal moment for the show because Colt had this way of not being able to be himself on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so uncomfortable. All of his in the moment talking heads were like he was narrating. some type of anatomy textbook.
Talk about
But
serial
he was
killer
talking.
vibes.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, then you realize that's not actually him. He was just so unbelievably uncomfortable
Yeah.
that he wasn't able to be himself. But no, Colt, and now his disturbing chin beard that's happened.
Yes.
But Colt, then you saw his mother gave me because you have a good talk like this.
Yeah.
So you saw Larissa with her dead, derpy eyes staring at him and wondering, how did this man get this woman?
What is the deal here?
Yeah.
And then like I saw like one of the infamous moments, like as my wife was watching it, like go buy a butt.
Go buy a butt.
And then after that came
Go buy a butty.
who is against the queen shall die.
Yes.
Which is still a thing that we say in the house. Like that's
Yes.
like even in the house, like we have our catchphrases. Like, you know, if we have a long day at work, it's like, how was your day? I work so much work.
I work so much work.
Work so much work.
Yes.
Almost there lazy.
Yes.
Like, always a big one. And if we need encouragement on something, if like we think like, I don't know if I can get this project done in time, we just look at each other and say, you will get it done.
You know, you will get it done.
That makes me feel better because we repeat things. I mean, sometimes I've taken to now, if I can't find my cell phone in my apartment, I'll walk around and just go, Sumit!
We do her voice as a chicken.
Because she's a chicken.
Yeah.
She's a living chicken.
Next thing we do her as a turkey.
Yeah.
Oh, Sumit, I'm not going to let your mother talk to me like that. Sumit, I'm going to be a Hare Krishna, Sumit. Hare Krishna.
And with me and my wife, our favorite couple is Jenny and Sumit.
Oh. Can you think about there is hope for everyone.
Now, why are they your favorite couple?
Because, well, the way that I kind of see like 90 Day Fiance, the way I kind of break up the couples, of course, like
Yes, y'all. We don't take notes.
He has
Marcus
Marcus
is
brought
fucking
notes.
reading us for filth. This isn't even his goddamn podcast. And this stupid bitch brought lengthy notes, categorizations.
I'm looking at my phone.
Yeah, you look at your grinder half of our show.
That's true.
I can't.
It's
help,
more interesting.
I can't help but do this. This is
I
just
get
what
it, I
happens.
get it.
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I
So-
just had to read us.
So tell me why Jenny and Sumit's, is it because it was completely based on a lie? It started on a lie.
Well, there's a few different categories. Like the biggest category is of course indifference.
Yes.
You know, like people that you just don't care about.
Yeah.
The next category is people you hate. You know, and people that and there's two subcategories in hate, which is couples that you love to hate, that you'll watch them and because you love to scream at them, and couples that are so infuriating that you fast forward through
hate
them. Rob and Sophie, I'm looking at you.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Then there's the three categories of people that I enjoy watching.
Yeah.
There's the weirdos.
Yeah.
Anna and Marcel.
Yes.
Those are some of my Bees Anna.
Jake talked so much about the 3 moles that she had on her face, and we named them.
No, Marcus.
And then she ended up getting them removed.
Well, we called them Huey, Dewey, and Garfield.
No, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and the one on her
Sorry.
shoulder was Garfield. And it was always hungry for
I
more.
brought it up, Marcus, because I thought it was a complete physical anomaly that if you drew a line, there was one line that bisected all 3 moles on her face. It was like it was genetically put there.
Yeah, these two people are just.
Her honey is delicious. People have given it to us, and it's out of this world.
I bet so.
It's really good.
And they're so happy now.
They're incredibly. They have a new child together.
Gulkin.
And what's fascinating, like, that should not have worked then, and it still should not work now.
I mean, the language barrier, it's incredible because there's so many of these people have like this language barrier that they try to get through and they never quite break through, like for whatever reason. But what I love about Anna and Marcel is that they found the common interest, which is bees.
Yes.
Like they
Yes.
both love
Yes.
bees, and through that they got through that. Like I'll never forget the scene of them when they almost broke up, and they're both like on the ground crying like a couple of 14-year-olds, like figuring out like how like neither one of them know how a relationship works. But those are the weirdos. I mean, there's Anna Marcel, Paul and Carini. Like I mean,
Okay, I almost started the show of saying, Marcus, you've done Ted Bundy, Ed Gein, Can we talk about Paul and Karine?
Yes, of course.
Because they seem to be on a similar place. Paul and Karine, I still feel like is a Dateline waiting to happen.
Yeah, there's something strange going on about that. There's something behind the scenes. Like you look at Paul's eyes, and there's something happening. And and so many of these serial killers, they do have like that one weird thing that you can always make fun of them for.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul's run.
His run
is just so incredible, and the fact that he. Like, I've never seen someone retreat like an animal, like he does, like retreating into the woods, like waddling along.
And not very coordinated.
And
animal.
almost getting killed.
Yes.
Like in Brazil.
Yes. Karine, please. I do Paul like I do my father because they kind of sound the same.
Yeah. Karine, I want a divorce.
Karine, I don't think we should. Karine, you don't like me anymore. I don't know what to do. And Paul's mother.
5 for 5. 5 for 5.
We always say 5, 5, say 5.
When I'm in the grocery store,
do you need tampons, Karine? But we always say that Paul's mother. That's another character we do. When she went down to Brazil and she had
her
the hair
was just so flat,
was plastered to her forehead because it was so hot.
Yeah,
she just kept saying, "God damn it, Paul, I'm hot. I want an iced tea." Where do you use the word or phrase? Poop water a lot because that is something.
Poop water.
My father used to be a plumber.
I forgot about poop water.
I'm like, Dad, are you fixing that poop water?
I have my sheath underwear, my penis sheath, so it'll protect things from swimming up my penis.
It was weird because we originally got into before the 90 Day was the first season we covered, season 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was 2.
So
that
we didn't
was
see
Paul.
the original when he first met Karine. We saw them kind of after the fact.
Actually, so did I. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the scene with the machete when they threatened her with the phone that I went, I'm in.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
For me, it was when Darcy got her stiletto stuck in the escalator at the airport. And
I mean, I don't know how many times me and my wife like use the phrase appreciation ring. Like,
it's more of an appreciation ring.
I forgot about
it's an appreciation ring. You know, it's for how much I appreciate you, and just the ongoing segment. I mean, of Darcy.
And she would when something happened, you would see her rationalize, and she's like, yeah. We do her voice like this because that's Archie. Hey, Stace, with her sister Stacy, and how her sister completely just destroys her emotionally.
Every time. My favorite scene between the two of them is that I can't remember what show it was on, but I think it's by the time I think it's after she breaks up with Tom.
Yes, that is a pivotal scene.
The two of them sitting by the waterfront.
They're by the water,
trying to cry through their Botox.
Yes.
And neither one of them.
And Darcy said,
I just want my love.
I will email you a video we did of that as them.
It's incredible.
They're classless. They're classless.
Just the tear ducts don't work anymore.
No, they don't work. But we do say like, and I want to talk more about your categories, but I also want to ask you, we say this. Yes, some of it's enhanced, some of it's redone.
Yes,
but we always say
truth in it.
People are their best and their worst when they're beginning a relationship. That could be either one. Mm-hmm. And there is this truth in it. And we always kind of jokingly say, everyone's a Darcy or a Stacy. And so, or maybe there's another character you relate to, but are you a Darcy or a Stacy?
I mean, if I would. So you're saying like Stacy is more of like the bulldozer?
She's bulldozer pointing out things.
Yeah.
Darcy's the kind of codependent.
I'm codependent. As
I'm
fuck,
Stacy.
Yeah,
and you're a Stacy.
Yeah. You know what?
Are you someone else?
I might say I'm a Stacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might say I'm a bit of a a bit of the bulldozer.
Maybe he never loved you.
That's what she said.
I have been told many times that one of my I lack tact.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, you're Stacy.
Me too. You're Stacy.
You're
yeah,
Stacy.
so I'm Stacy.
And you know what? You're getting older. And that's what's going to happen.
Okay, so you have the people we hate. There's 2 subcategories for that.
And then there's the weirdos. And for me, the biggest weirdo is this guy I think about so much. And he was a kind of a minor guy in a before the 90 days. David with the duster. David with the duster.
The one with Lana.
With Lana. Yeah, because
like
David, I'm obsessed. Like, because if you ask
with that hair.
If you ask who I think like could possibly be a serial killer who could possibly have like a very dark past, it's David with the duster. Like, because I always think about him, because he's the guy that traveled all the way to, I think it was Ukraine. Or
It was Ukraine.
Yeah, Ukraine.
And he traveled all the way there to meet this woman that may or may not be real.
Yes.
And I just think about the moment that he's sitting on the steps, freezing, waiting for her to show up, and he's texting her, and he says, I just texted her,
Yes.
and you look at and he shows the phone, and it just says,
Yeah,
I think about that moment so much.
That's your rent-free head moment.
Yep.
He definitely has. He definitely has just subscriptions to like underage girl sites and things like that. Just like, just gross shit.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I would say that I would say that his taste might be unconventional in certain ways, but I wouldn't go as far. I wouldn't go as far as to say that. But he's what was amazing is that woman did end up being real.
Yes,
eventually. So I mean, she's not, because like Williams is definitely
Williams was never real. We still use the phrase when they said, "Could you do a reverse image search?" and she went, "I'm not familiar."
And she always giggled.
And so
said, not familiar.
for Yolanda, we always go, "I'm not familiar with that."
Not familiar.
I just want to bring up one thing. Talking about someone being real. Do you remember, where were you when, from Caesar and Maria, when you found out Maria was actually real? Do you remember when they said, "Hello, I am Maria"?
Oh my God, yes.
It's like moon landing JFK.
And we thought she was a man in Kenya.
We were watching an episode together. We ran around his living room, just screamed. The neighbor checked on us because we were just out of our bodies.
They kept that secret so well.
They did.
I don't think you'd be able to do it today.
Yeah, I don't know if you could. Yeah, that one, I gotta admit that is a vague memory for me. That one doesn't stand out as much.
There's a lot. There's a lot of other.
But I mean, but that's the thing. We're talking about what, 16 seasons?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and each season is what, 15 hours, 15 to 20 hours.
Yeah.
I'm bound to forget.
Do you watch
something.
The Single Life too?
I don't watch. Like, that's the thing. I don't watch The Single Life.
That's my favorite
and
one.
I don't watch Happily Ever After, because the thing is that after a season of
You're done.
especially, I'm fucking done with these people. I'm
see-
done. I want to move on because they're making the seasons too long.
They are making them too
way
long.
too long.
Happily Ever After, I always feel like it's some type of like psychological experiment to see how much we can take.
It's a better 45-minute show than an hour and a half. Too,
It is.
I think.
Yeah.
And the only ones where you don't need to watch this season. The only ones, if you watch their 90 Day Fiance season, is Ashley and Manuel. Are the only ones watchable because she's so extra and insane with her Peggy Hill Spanish. Literalmente.
Como se dice.
Como se dice. Yeah.
Mi es trabajo, whatever, bruja.
Mi trabajo es
Mi
bruja.
trabajo es bruja.
But the thing is that my wife is a native Spanish speaker. Her first language is Spanish, and she said that while her accent is atrocious, her ability to express herself in Spanish is incredible.
And we should give her credit for that.
Yeah,
because it's
Just
better
got
than
that
anybody
Valley
else
girl.
could do.
And Manuel's so good because he's a little
So
queen.
shady.
You know, you don't have to
Bitch.
be gay to be a queen, but he's a little shady. He's like, yeah, whatever, and he's like, especially this episode.
So you talked about your other categories. You talked about your favorite couple.
My favorite couple is Ginny and Sumit.
Yeah.
Because it's the other two categories are the funny couples.
Yes.
And the one, like the funny couples go like David and Annie, are like they're just hilarious. You know,
boom.
David and Annie, Robert and Annie, Rebecca and Zaid. You know, it's like just because Zaid's so fucking good.
When he showed up and she was wearing her on her shirt, and it looked nothing like Rebecca because it was so photoshopped.
There was just that one, like, that you could like look at what he thought that she was, and she's standing who she actually is right next to him.
It's like 4 layers of meta.
It's like, fuck, did somebody, like, those are those moments that make you want to watch this show.
Yes.
Because you know that nobody set that up. No producer told him to do that.
No.
That was just one of those incredible human moments.
Yes.
And then, of course, there's the last category that I have, which is just the good story.
Yeah.
You know, the people who like the love story, and there's only 3 of them.
Tell us who.
There's 3. Sam and Citra. from the latest season.
That was we called that Love After Lockup crossover.
Didn't it? It really
My diversion.
Yeah, my diversion. His like neck tattoos. I was like, y'all, this is dark.
And and I know that like he had to go on social media after the first episode and goes like, guys, I just look like this. This is just my face. We all look like this.
It's not meth. It's just my face.
My meth. I'm not a proud boy. I just look like this.
Mm-hmm.
They were so quaint and so sweet.
Yeah, they really were. They were incredible. Like that's like, oh my! It was so nice to have a nice couple that like actually loved each other and
his
enjoyed
brother
each other's
married her
company.
sister now.
His brother married her sister.
Yeah, and then another like kind of recent one is David and Sheila.
Oh, we love them.
Like David and Sheila are absolutely incredible. Like he's just like they enjoy each other. She like learned ASL for him.
Yeah.
You know, like and they're
I
really
forgot about them.
yeah, they're great.
We ruined that by saying that David had an enormous red angry penis.
You know what? We said the exact same thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Like
like
it was just so red and thick, and she didn't. And
it was like
They pull it out. You don't know whether you want to suck it or run away. And you never run away. But you still...
hell of a hooter on that guy.
Yes.
Like, you know,
He's
like
got
that
a hog.
disturbingly large. And then, of course, Kenny and Armando. Just the actual like love story of like two people who got together.
Yeah.
Like he wants to like raise his kid, but then there's also Armando wants another kid, but Kenny's too. He's like, I'm too old.
But still the drama, like
I don't know what to do, Armando.
But still, there's the drama of Armando's wife trying to run him off the road when she found out he was gay, and that's how she killed herself.
What?
And died.
Yeah,
That's
she
how
died in a wreck.
She was trying to run him off the road.
I didn't know that.
She found out he was
Marcus,
gay.
she was chasing him, and she ran off the road
and died
in her car.
I always
So
assumed
that's why
like,
he has this guilt and everything.
I always assumed it was like some sort of like she just died of like some like cancer.
No. She died in a car wreck.
She has
chasing
survivor's
him.
guilt.
I know.
We just last podcast on the left 90 day for you.
That's fucking rough, man.
I just need to say this. The things that Marcus has read and talked about on his show, and he just looked like his soul left his body. When we told him that. But that's how dark that story is.
That's a really... I didn't know that story had that edge to it.
I
I thought the worst thing was the fucking ugly dog. But I also do think the storyline of his father like being accepting.
great.
I do think that, but I think that storyline might have been a little bit manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
I think they
Possibly,
pulled that one out. Like,
it still made us cry.
it was still a very. It was
very...
by the time it got to the end of it, like it was very touching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we go back to Sumit and Jenny?
Because that's the thing is that at the end of it, there's two couples or two people that have everything.
Everything.
That are a couple. They're fucking weirdos.
Yes.
That truly love each other, but they're also funny. Jenny and Sumit.
Yes.
And anything going on with Darcy.
I agree.
Oh.
Yeah.
Darcy, for us, Darcy is peak 90 Day because she represents everyone has a time where she sits in her humiliation and there's always a positive thing that she's trying to find. She's like, where will I find love?
I just want to be a strong, empowered woman. But she's a perfect example of where a part of us, not for everybody, but if you relate to her, you go, if I didn't have, whether it was therapy or whether it was tools I've in my life or good parents, if I didn't have that, I could see myself being that way. I could
Hey,
see
she's
myself
had one
acting-
therapy session.
Yeah, she had one
therapy session.
I guess I never get it when they film that. Like, who are these fucking therapists? How unethical are they to let a fucking TLC camera crew in on a therapy session?
It's my master's. I don't use it, but my master's in therapy. And the first time I saw it, I went like, "You should not be doing this.
Yeah.
You should be,
your
it's
degree
completely unethical."
incredibly so.
The people they choose are usually counselors.
Yeah.
Or there'll be Christian ones, like the one
cheese
My
sticks.
Lisa.
Well, Tim and May
Tim and
Lisa.
May Lisa.
I don't know if you watched. I think that was a B90 where Tim was the guy from Texas and he had cheated on Melissa.
Maylisa, yeah.
And he said, Maylisa.
But he spoke his Spanish well and in a correct accent, so he would talk Spanish.
He's like,
Colombia.
He's like,
yeah.
But I'm gonna get Maylisa in Colombia.
My wife is Colombian, so she very much appreciated that one.
Maylisa, they have a baby now, and I still say that baby is a hate baby. Because her mother basically was poisoning her against him.
Now that's something that those two couples though have. You're right though, have all the crazy.
They have everything.
Yeah, everything. And I never got tired of Jenny and Sumit.
And crazy mothers. They have, because that's another good 90 Day is, Mother Daddy, Mama Sumit. I mean, ooh, those are.
And I can't
forces.
believe that they waited until I think it was like the third season to have the reveal that like Jenny and Sumit's mother were like friends, and that Jenny had come and stayed for like 3 months in India at their house without sneaking over to Sumit's room to have Sumit time.
And then guess what? I'm fucking your son.
and just guessing what variation on Sumit Jenny's gonna say that day. Is she gonna say Smee? Is she gonna say Sumit? Is she gonna say Smit?
Sumit is also popular.
Yeah, every single one of them is every storyline that she had, and every time, and just like I'm married is my favorite. I am married is my favorite 90 Day Fiancé moment.
I am married.
Oh, that was great. But then what I always marvel at as, Sumit is really an inspirational figure to us to know. You could put him on posters, and the fact that there's always another way. And I mean, there's always another way that he can choose his mother over Jenny repeatedly. He's gonna find that. He's gonna climb that mountain for that.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite line from him of all time is during when COVID hit, and they both got their stupid little cards.
Yes, they both got their cards that magically protect them from COVID.
Yeah,
yes.
And he's like, we got the cards because I have asthma and Jenny is old.
Jenny is old. And he said it in such a, because I have asthma and Jenny is old.
Just so matter of fact.
And his father, the translation was, are you going to marry an oldie?
An oldie, yes.
I mean, just the times that they would have these screaming matches, and Jenny going back and forth, and you've got the daughters the whole time, or the daughter and her girlfriend the whole time saying like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And just continually going back to this man.
And now it seems like everyone is friends.
It seems like they finally I mean, that's the thing. They relented. Finally.
This is hope for anyone who's ever tried to date an Indian man with a horrific mother-in-law.
Sumit, it's, again, inspirational. Don't ever talk about the subject. Just keep showing up to your house for dinner, and eventually they'll be okay with it.
Yeah, lie and lie and lie and lie.
Let
just
your
keep
mom
lying.
come over and shame your wife for not cleaning.
And sometimes you get kidnapped by your wife's family. It happens.
It happens.
It happens.
Remember when they got kidnapped? And then, because in the Chirons, they always show them together and they're either happy or sad.
Yeah, those are my favorites.
The image of 90 Day that lives rent-free in my head is just Jenny standing there so sad.
Oh.
And just, it actually looked like, when someone does like too much pot and it looks like their face is falling. And that's how she just looked. So
defeated.
sad. Yes, defeated.
Yeah. But yeah, I think their story has every element, and of course Darcy, because Darcy, her men are all just incredibly awful. Like she's just making the worst choice. Like Jesse is one of the great villains of 90 Day Fiancé.
It is an illusion that I would be a father.
And his parents, my God.
My God.
I always think that
Betsy Johnson, his mother.
Betsy Johnson, the designer, looked like his mother. And the stepfather is some kind of hybrid animal with a cross with a person. It's very strange. Look at this kid. He is so beautiful.
And you're old.
And you're old.
Yeah.
Dutch people are so weird.
They're very blunt. Like you want to talk about a people like a culturally tactless civilization.
Very true.
So do you think, because then she moved on to Tom.
And Tom was just like, have you gained weight?
It's just, you're looking a bit heavy, Doss.
Yeah, it's like, Tom was just such an asshole as well. And it was cool. Like, we eventually figured out that he lived, I just moved here to LA from New York about a year and a half ago, and I'd lived in Greenpoint for years and years. And we figured out he lived in Long Island City. He lived right across the river.
Wow!
So like we would go out and try to look and find Tom because when the scenes between him and Darcy were filmed like in our neighborhood often. So like we just wanted to see them.
He tried to kind of curry favor with us and try to do a couple things because he was trying to become
that's his
a star.
thing, right?
Yeah,
is that he tries to curry favor with everyone.
Yeah, and we're just kind of like, dude,
we don't do a lot of interviews with people because we want to be more fans. We did,
of course,
we did our first and still, I think, but we did interview Darcy and Stacey.
We did interview Darcy and Stacey, and Florian was on the bed. And Florian's like,
and where was Georgie?
This is before Georgie.
Pre-Georgie.
Oh, wow.
This was the beginning of Darcy and Stacey, which they need to bring back because even if they're not going to, they at least need to do a Darcy wedding special. We need the completion. Like it's like an Asuelu and a Kalani on Last Resort. We saw them completely break up and fall apart. We need the closure for Darcy, but we opened the Zoom camera and we're sitting there, and then Florian is looking at the computer like, what is this box?
We always say he's a 15th century vampire that's been kept alive.
And he doesn't,
just still looking for his village.
And then Darcy and Stacey come on, full glam. They're sitting there, and Jake said, "Thank you guys for being here today." And without a beat, they go, "It's our honor."
Did they plug House of 11?
Oh yeah,
Of course.
They plugged everything.
I will admit, we watched a full season of Darcy and Stacey, and then it eventually gets tedious.
It does.
At one point.
We love their friends, their drunk friends.
Debbie and Raina.
Yeah, the drunk friends are interesting.
We actually drop our episodes at 11:11 because of them. That's when we drop our episodes.
Angel numbers. Brother Michael, he's watching.
But I mean, the one outlier couple though is that the one that I just have found so fascinating over the years because of how it started, how it continued, and how it's still working is Avery and Omar.
Okay, like, me and Omar. That's what
I mean, Anshala.
We called them me and Omar because she just said me and Omar the whole time.
Yeah,
and we always think that.
He just got a citizenship too.
Yes,
I mean, didn't he come
dentist?
Dentist.
Like a month ago, he got a citizenship.
Incredible.
We always say there's a dark side to that story, and a radical conversion of a girl in Ohio.
I said the exact same thing.
I said it, and then
and she had a gymnastics coach. That's what I always thought.
I think he was arrested for touching underage girls. So we just wonder.
But she supported her friend who was involved in a lawsuit against him. We never heard anything about that. But
that's far darker.
Something happened on the way to heaven.
Yeah, that's far darker than what I thought.
But they met, and she's happy, and so is. And I always thought he was a really good guy.
Yeah,
he was a good guy.
But you're right. She's now selling makeup. She's got her own makeup Instagram Walmart.
Does she sell her own makeup?
Yeah.
Oh, like Yara.
Yeah, she's got her own line for Muslim women.
Really? Oh, really? Oh, that's smart. Good for her. Good for them.
Yeah, that entire that at first I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on here with this woman like cosplaying, but then.
I thought it would fall away.
Yeah, I thought it would fall away too.
I thought she was doing that to make him happy, and I went, no, this is...
Inshallah.
Yeah. But as it went on, I was like, this woman is serious about this.
First we didn't like her mother, and then we ended up really liking her mom, and the mom came around to that. They really are one of the few success stories. We always say about 90 Day. I don't know if you have to do this for your show so you can talk about it in an intellectual and just funny way. But we always say, and we say this a lot about Love After Lockup. It's funny unless you think about it. Because meth is funny, unless you really think about it.
Speaking of Love After, we're almost out of time, but I just want to bring up a little bit about Love After Lockup
because I also have a list of my favorites there.
Yeah.
We kind of got started a little bit later. But tell us about that show for me.
We're going to do the older episodes on our Patreon show. We have to do that.
Also, Matt Sharp, the producer who creates all this, we met him at the 90-day 10th year anniversary party, and I was like, Daddy Sharp, you are the reason we are here.
Jake got drunk and rubbed his back. It was
I may have
inappropriate.
put my hand on the small of his back.
Yeah, maybe.
But
okay.
he's just this regular white-haired guy.
I would imagine so. I mean,
He
you just
said
get-
Love After Lockup's his favorite thing.
I would imagine
he
so.
said
It's the best. It's the better show out of the two.
He said, I am most proud of the things that we have put on Love After Lockup.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
Love After Lockup is legitimately an incredible show.
I totally agree.
It's so much better than 90 Day Fiancé. It's so much realer.
Yeah.
It's fucking dark. It's like two members are dead. like two people.
Another one.
Who is
Maurice just passed away.
No shit.
Yes, Maurice and Jessica.
Oh man.
Oh, really?
He was just shot.
Oh my god.
Trigger warning. Sorry,
Trigger
everybody.
warning, yeah.
Jesus. Yeah.
And this isn't even. Don't even get started on Inmate to Roommate.
Inmate to Roommate. I don't
It's a
know.
new
Oh,
Matt Sharp
Marcus.
show. It's Love After Lockup,
Marcus,
but darker.
You must. It's on A&E, and it is.
It's a sharp joint.
It's a Matt Sharp joint. It is when people leave prison and they have these people who saying, "You can live with me in my house." And
So Inmate to Roommate.
Wow.
And there's like this one episode, this guy who's like this white guy from Minneapolis who just wants to like everything in his house, like Black culture, Black Lives Matter, and like he picks up the inmate from the prison.
like,
and
I'm
that
trying to
day he's
change
like,
the system.
And he's like, "Can we go to a protest today?" And the guy's like, "I just want fried chicken."
it's
crazy.
I will
Anyway,
say,
we won't
your
go off
wife's
on it.
probably aware of it.
Yeah.
And I would say start with season 1 because we're in season 2 now, but it's insane.
We're gonna get a 1:30 a.m. email from you about this.
Talk about what you love about the show and who your favorites are.
Well, I mean, what I love about the show is, it really is just the people. Like it's like you get this window into a world that you otherwise wouldn't get a window into. You know, like this window of like because you know how difficult it is for people to come out of this system. And,
Yeah.
and the reason why I don't watch the show anymore is because it got way too stylized and
Yeah.
it started feeling gross.
Yeah,
like
during lockup especially.
Yeah, it started feeling really gross. But at the beginning, like you really like get to see like these people. It's like, okay, these people are actually trying, and you get to see this kind of window into like a different kind of like, you know, I kind of hate using the word desperate in relation to 90 Day and
Yeah,
you know,
no, it's
Love
fair.
Yeah, I mean it's fair, but I don't necessarily like using that word because it's, like I think some people just have a really hard time finding love, and
Yeah.
these are the avenues in which they've found it.
Why are you
Prison
talking about
pen
me
pal.
like
Better or
I'm,
worse?
Why are you talking about like I'm not here, Marcus? I'm right fucking here.
Yeah, that's the next step is a prison pen pal.
But that's what they find, and the character. The people, the couple that I love the most is, of course, like I mean, I'm not alone in this. Is Clint and Tracy?
Yes,
because
goddess.
it is
Yeah.
the most incredible storyline because you really like it plays out like a play or a novel or something
Yes.
like that because it ends with her dying.
Yes.
Like she ends up dying in the end.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, spoiler. I mean, but
I
that's.
think most people know.
And he hit that little Debbie truck.
I mean, mother.
That is in our theme song for the show. Is those little Debbie cakes? They go everywhere.
And motherfucking crack. I mean, that's
motherfucking crack.
I mean,
Motherfucking crack.
that's one of the great lines of reality television.
Yes.
But I also love, and it's not just the absolute failures that that you love watching because you do see this window into a different world. But I truly love the success stories like Marcelino and Brittany.
Well,
like I
they're-
truly love.
Well, in their later seasons, they're kind of on the rocks.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Because
right.
we really like her too.
We think they might be done actually.
But
Oh,
they
really?
might be because apparently he was having an affair, and she ended up like they showed it on camera with her friend, who like she decked and just knocked her friend out.
But is this after the threesome?
This is post threesome.
Post threesome. Okay, yeah.
The threesome did not go well.
Yeah, because Brittany opened a door there that she did not want. That was. I knew that was a bad. I knew that was a bad door to be opened. It's usually a bad door.
But you're rooting for them, and she's doing so much. Did you ever watch the seasons too, where the season was really about Brittany trying to get her mom clean?
Yeah, I did
That
watch
was
that
so-
one.
Those,
Yeah.
I mean, we've
was
talked about
great
this before. I
television.
won't go into y'all, but Marcus and I are both originally from Oklahoma. We found out. So
well, my father's from Oklahoma.
Your father.
Yeah. But I'm
He's basically you.
Don't tell me I'm from
Basically
Oklahoma.
you. Then we're one step away from a relative who's on meth. If you're from Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely have. Yeah, I have plenty of friends who, like, that I grew up with.
Yeah.
That are dead now.
Yeah.
From opioid overdoses, meth, whatever.
It's a dope sick world.
Plenty of people. Yeah.
I appreciate that that show is. I luckily didn't have Jake and I both didn't have a familiarity with the prison system and everything. So that show gives me empathy in a different level that
Very
I didn't
much
know
so.
I had. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, and it's also just fascinating and funny.
Yeah.
And it has the funny moments too. It's like, oh, you almost got into a fight at that job interview, huh?
Yeah.
Where it's like, but it also shows you it's like how hard of a time these people have, like coming out into the world.
It really exposes the American prison system for what it is. Yeah,
it does. But we also can't get too high-minded with it because because that's the thing is that with me, like 90 Day and with me, like reality shows and that type of thing, it's like the reason why I basically hated seasons 8, 9, and 10 of 90 Day Fiancé, even though I watched all of them, is because they're all mean.
Yep.
Everybody's mean. And what you want with 90 Day Fiancé is you need two things: innocence and foolishness.
that's very true.
That's a great way to
and love.
Yeah.
A love is somewhat optional at certain times.
Love is a debatable word. Love means different things for different times.
I call it the Hazel principle of Tariq and Hazel.
Yeah.
When Hazel just said, this guy's a good enough guy to give me a better life. I don't need to love someone.
Yeah.
I just need to find a better place. And who's to say that's wrong?
Exactly. I don't think there's anything wrong with that
so it
at
needs
all.
that, whatever version of love, yes. But
Sure,
the foolishness for sure.
Yeah, but you need the foolishness in order for it to be fun, and you need the innocence in order for you to like these people, and the love is just what makes the good story. But but these latest seasons, aside from Citra and Sam, it's like they're missing those elements, and I think it's partly because all shows like this, there's the peak where enough people know about it, where you can have a fun fandom and you can talk to people about it and all that, but then once it becomes, because you guys were telling me before the show that this is like the number one show,
it's number one show for women across the board. It's
everybody knows about the show now. Everybody knows that 90 Day Fiancé exists, so it's getting harder and harder to find people that don't know about it. It's sort of
casting.
Yeah, for casting and all that. It's sort of like because the show's become too meta. That's why, because I'm also a massive fan of Drag Race.
Yes.
And,
really?
Yeah, and that's why Drag Race seasons 4 through 8 are fucking incredible.
2 is still my favorite season.
Yeah?
by far.
But you're right. 4 through 8 hit a sweet spot. The most recent have been a little too self-aware.
Well,
by
season 9 was terrible. Well, just because they didn't have the talent that they had.
No.
Right.
But then once it starts becoming meta and it starts being self-referential and going back to it.
And now it's a business.
Yeah.
I appreciate it more when drag queens made their own clothes and had this. We got straight when we started our tour. We were stranded at LAX for 10 hours waiting for a flight, and turns out Jujubee. I sat next to Jujubee the entire
I went. That's fucking Jujubee. We saw her, and she was so sweet.
Oh, I bet so.
Oh, it's so
really
kind.
great queen.
Yeah.
We want to wind this up just because we've kept you more longer.
Anything else? I want to make sure you get all your notes covered. You prepared.
That's I did. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I mean,
anything.
R.I.P.
We want to make sure we get that.
Oh yes, he's dead.
Marcus, we want to get that last little dribble of semen from you. Whatever you need to get.
We're milking you.
If there's anything left.
Oh, and I guess it would be appropriate is around the time that I stopped watching Love After Lockup was when Shane when his OnlyFans account got exposed.
The Italian queen. I do have like I'm droopy dog
because her lips are done so much.
Lips are dope, and she says we say now every time someone's pregnant we go, I'm pregnant.
Or she would say, I think Chang cheated
I
on me.
think Chang cheated on me.
Yeah, between
she
Shane
can't
and John.
even talk. And John, oh,
So
my God.
Daddy's home.
you're going to love M. Night to Roommate because it's got kind of what you said, that innocence.
Sure, that's
That
what I
is
like.
Not, that is, it's
I
only
think-
the second season.
I would highly recommend it.
All right, and
There-
earnestness too is also like that's a big thing.
Yeah.
There are moments on that first season where I was just like, is everyone safe?
You wonder, you wonder if someone's going to make out alive.
Okay. All right. Sounds great.
I have one final question for you, and that is, who from 90 Day Fiancé is gonna end up on Last Podcast on the Left?
David from
Yes!
David from
Yes.
David and mine.
I just texted that man. There's a darkness behind that duster.
There you go. I still think Paul and Karini's they're gonna find Paul's trailer and it's gonna have bodies in it or something.
But animal bodies.
Yes.
A lot of
Yeah.
animal bodies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's gonna end up being a guy who killed a bunch of dogs.
Yes.
It's going to be Paul.
Marcus, thank you so much.
Thank
This
you.
has been a pleasure.
It's been so much fun.
Y'all.
I never get to talk about this stuff.
We are here.
Y'all, and not only did he come on our show, but then he invited us to his studio, so we don't have to do this in Jake's living room.
In my living room.
But so it was
It's
just
clothing
so kind
optional,
of you.
Marcus. It would have been fine.
It's not. You would hear a noise, and it'd be the fuck machine going
The
off
fuck
in
machine,
the bedroom.
the fuck
It's
machine
not-
just kind of idles these days.
So
She warmed up for us.
thank you. So last podcast on the left. For anybody who's new to you, what else are you offering for them?
Yeah, you can go check us out like Last Podcast on the Left. I actually would. Donner Party is actually what we recommend
No shit.
as our like introductory episode.
That was my gateway.
It's been so many people's gateway. It's like that episode actually became so popular that the Indifferent Stars Above went into 2 extra printings.
You did that. A guy owes you money.
No, we owe him. Trust me.
Probably.
I mean, that guy's his Indifferent Stars
I
Above.
loved that book.
Is one of the best nonfiction books I've ever read.
Yes.
But yeah, go check that out. I do a music history podcast that's kind of similar to Last Podcast on the Left with my wife. It's called No Dogs in Space. We did a full season on punk, but we've also done I would recommend for your listeners, I'd recommend going and checking out our 6-part series on the Beastie Boys that goes through like the history of like New York punk and New York hip hop and how the Beastie Boys came out of all that. That's the best entry point for that
Awesome.
show. So yeah, I'd highly recommend checking out that one.
When I hear music history, I think, when's your episode of Vivaldi coming out? 'Cause that
Actually-
was my degree, is music history.
Actually, my wife very much wants to do like a full like classical music
Yes!
series because she's also obsessed with classical music
Yes.
and and the stories behind.
We
Oh,
met. We
guys.
both studied opera.
There-
That's how we met.
There,
back in
there,
Texas.
there are some sordid classical music stories.
Yes, no, and
Yes.
that's why she
He
wants to
knows
one day
all the, especially all the gay ones. If
All
someone
the
was
gay ones.
Poodle knows all about it.
Who was gay?
Like half of them.
That-
Vivaldi?
like-
who,
No.
was the
Stravinsky?
who was the nastiest gay?
Prokofiev. How was
Tchaikovsky? Prokofiev was straight, strangely. Tchaikovsky was gay, but he had a brother that was even gayer. And the brother was also, and the brother would write him these dramatic letters like, maybe we should have just been together instead of, and Tchaikovsky's like, no, I'm straight. And then he was like jerking off to other guys. But
all right.
So incest
anyway,
is what you're saying.
A lot
Okay.
of composers, almost all the American composers in the 20th century were gay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Copeland, Pickle Smoker,
Yeah.
Samuel Barber, Dick Licker.
Yeah.
They're all gay.
I
Yeah.
love Copeland.
Bernstein, both dick licking and pussy licking, strangely.
Really?
But
Yeah,
preferred
he's both.
dick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
There you go.
Anyway, so come to me for all your questions of who's gay, who's gay in classical
That's
music.
what I do every time I hang out with gay guys. I'm just like, so,
So
just
who's
tell
gay?
me who's gay. Who's gay that I don't know about?
Oh, Marcus, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so
with us
much,
today.
Marcus.
Thank you so much for
Check
having
out
me.
Last Podcast on the Left if you are a true crime lover or if you love anything dark, like if you're a dark boy like me.
But it's not scary. I like it too.
Yeah.
Actually, it is. That's part of the point of the show is to
Well, you
like
know what
make
it
this
is?
stuff where it's not as scary as you think it is.
Also, because I never feel like y'all are making fun of the people.
Oh no, that's
And
one
I-
of our principles.
and
Is like
it-
you never
you-
make
yeah.
fun of the victims.
You never
No.
make, and I never feel like I'm laughing at them. And also, I always just wonder what Henry's on, because I
He's
don't
high
know.
on life.
It's just plain old weed.
Play it.
boy.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
But
He just didn't get enough attention as a child.
you can also though,
None of
feel
us
the-
did.
No.
You can feel the joy that y'all enjoy talking about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Really
I
do.
don't know what the fuck is wrong with Jake and I, but we love talking about
We
90
do,
Day.
and we love talking about people.
And it comes out
like
through
you
your
say.
show.
No, thank you
Yeah.
so much. No,
Thank
y'all
you.
obviously are very passionate about this topic
We
as
are.
well. It
Yeah.
rubs off.
We
So-
have a
Yeah.
shirt that says, "Hey Darcy" and "Hey Stace."
Yeah.
And on that note, Marcus is like, I got to get out of here.
Hey, I got to get back. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're working on Patty Hearst right now.
Yes!
which is
It's good.
which actually the
Sweet
story
lady.
of Patty Hearst. If you listen to it, if you listen to episode 2, you're actually going to see some pretty big parallels in that. Was that roommate? What's it called?
Oh,
Inmate to
inmate to
roommate.
roommate.
Inmate. You're going to see a lot of parallels
Cool.
from inmate to roommate. Like it's kind of crazy.
Already,
it
though?
reminded me of it.
Like halfway through episode 1, because they're deep dives, y'all. We can only do like a 40-minute show, and then we're
Yeah.
exhausted. But no, they're already. I don't want to say spoilers, but I'm just in like, oh, this is not like the rich, entitled, manipulative person I thought this was.
Not even
that
the,
I'd heard.
The
in
Patty Hearst
history.
story is nothing like.
Yes.
Unless you've, I will say, unless you have extensively studied the Patty Hearst story, it is not what you think it is at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
enjoy it.
so I would just start with that, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, there
Start with
you
our
are.
newest
There
show.
you go, Marcus. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you guys so
Thank
much.
y'all.
For
We'll
the rest
see
of y'all,
you
we'll
soon.
see you soon.